Hey, Dame. First time out there for you. Just what the legs feel like, and what it feel like to be out there with the Bucks.
My legs felt pretty good. I think it's always going to be a little bit of rust the first time you get back out there in the preseason. No matter how much you practice, it's just different in the game. That adrenaline is different for not just you, but the guys that you're playing against. So it's just a little bit different. So a little bit of rust, but I felt good. I felt relaxed. The game felt real simple. Just being out there with really good players and experienced players, it felt really simple.
Damn, Adrian said that he could already tell that you and Giannis and the rest of the group already love playing with one another.
Yeah.
What stood out to you about just actually taking the court against another opponent with Giannis?
I think just having another guy out there that's just dominant, like he can dominate a game and win you a game. So, we come out first play of the game, first couple plays, and they blitz me. They trap me, and the guy that I'm releasing the ball to is Giannis. So I'm just like, we can do this all night, you know what I mean? That's what it was. I was taking the trap, getting it out, and I think it's just everybody enjoys it because we all will benefit from each other being on the floor. Chris wasn't even out there, and it's going to be different for him. If I'm getting blitzed and he's catching it, one of the possessions he caught it on the block and just played one-on-one. My guy hugged up on me and he has space to play. A couple other times I hit him in the middle and he's coming downhill, the deep, and he can, go to the rim, make the play to the weak side or whatever the case may be. So we're going to have a lot of options, and I think the fact that there's going to be times where he's willing to make the play to me and vice versa, as we saw today, and then you add Chris to that and Brooke making shots and BP, you got a lot of guys who are capable, and I think everybody's just enjoying the fact that we have those types of weapons.
Dame, what was your approach with the minutes you had when Giannis wasn't on the floor?
I mean, I play the same way. I think I always come off the pick and roll. I'm looking to be aggressive and, try to attack them just to make them reveal whatever the coverage is. So, like I said, to start the game, they showed me that they were going to be aggressive. So I accepted it and made the play, and I kind of played the game that way. And then as they kind of softened up, I started to look for my opportunities. And, I was able to get some stuff going in the half. And then without Giannis being out there, it wasn't, like I said, Giannis not playing, I'm going to start shooting the ball. It was just, how are they going to continue to defend me the same way? And to start the second half, I think the first shot that I made, but they were in a drop. I came off a pick and roll, and I had a clean look, so I took it. So it wasn't really about Giannis being on the floor or not being on the floor. I think my approach is typically the same. And also, like I said, on this team, you got weapons out there. Instead of Giannis, it was Bobby Portis, who's, probably the best sixth man in the league. So my approach didn't change. I just knew that, the coverage was different and I would have different opportunities.
Dame, just mentally, how do you approach, learning how to play in a system where it's not, 5 guys on you all night, right? It's going to take, 4 to 6 weeks, 8 weeks. How do you even think about that? And also, even as you just said to Dave, they trap me and, I'm throwing it to Giannis.
Yeah.
It's going to take a minute to get used to that, right?
Yeah, it might take a minute to get used to it, but it won't take a minute to make that decision, to give it up. I was like, cool, we can win that way. So, typically teams are doing it, and saying, all right, whatever happens after that, that's been my experience. And we've won a lot of games that way, but I don't think teams are going to look at Giannis and say, all right, we wanted to keep being a, one-on-one situation with him in the paint or him making simple plays. But I think the fact that Terry is here, I played for Terry for 9 years, and a lot of the things that we run is, he's controlling that offense. So it's all familiar. A lot of times, guys are asking me questions like when we talking about plays because I'm familiar with a lot of this stuff. So I think it helps that it's a new staff and, the guy who's in charge of the offense is the guy who I played for 9 years.
Hey, Dame, this is a little bit different question than the topics we've been discussing tonight. But I wanted to ask you what you thought or what you think of when it comes to LeBron and his legacy in the game. I know it's a big topic, and I'm just hitting it with you now. But when you hear that and think about LeBron, what do you think of?
For me, I remember being in, I think I was in the 8th grade or something like that when Bron came out. And just that type of hype, you know what I'm saying? I remember how hyped up he was at that time. Like, we was watching him on ESPN back then. So to have that type of hype and to live up to it and then some, you know, with that type of pressure and to come out as, you know, the all-time leading scorer in this league, to win how he's won, to be as scrutinized as he is and has been, and to still, you know, a lot of times he's just letting it roll off, you know, not addressing every single thing. And, you know, I can just respect how he doesn't handle all of these things since he was a teenager in a weak way, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of respect. You know, a lot of us, we deal with pressure as well to perform and to do what we do. But when you think about him being a teenager and now he's close to 40 and he's been at the top of his game since, and, you know, the way that he's done it and kind of risen to the occasion, I guess, all these years, I think that's a special thing. And I think people will look back at that body of work over, you know, 20 years or however long it's been, and when it's over with, I think they'll have more respect for it. You know, the guys who are in it like I am and the rest of us who do this job and got to put our bodies through it and got to, you know, deal with the pressure and have to perform and all of these things to go along with our personal lives. I think people like us respect it, but when it's over with, I think you guys and, you know, people, fans that just have watched it happen, they'll respect it more later.
Dame, you talked about some of the pressure to figure it out over the next couple of weeks, but is there an understanding that, you know, you guys don't have to figure it out right away? This can take time to develop. You mentioned Chris as well is a big part of this team. Like, is there an understanding that this could take some time, you know, well into maybe December, January, whenever?
Yeah, I mean, we know that it's a process. We're not just going to come together and have it all together, you know, right away. It's going to take time. And, you know, it's no different than, you know, you come to school, the first day of school, you see somebody, y'all might be cool that day, but over time you really get to know each other. You get to know who they really are as a person when something doesn't go their way, when they having success, and, you know, you have some storms, you have some trials and time spent, and you really learn each other, and I think that's when you really come together and you can really form a bond and start to connect, and I think that's what it is for us. But right now, you know, I think our personalities and our styles of play, they go together. It's been obvious in camp and when we've played together, but you got to have some time. You got to have some experiences to really know, you know what I'm saying? Like, it might take a time where Giannis might have to get mad at me over something, you know? Something got to happen for you to really start to learn who we are and how we come together. So obviously that's going to take time.
Last question, Eric. We talk a lot about you and Giannis in the pick and roll. I'm curious, you have two other pick and roll partners in Brooke and Bobby. What has it been like kind of getting to know their games a little bit and go through a pick and roll with them?
I mean, it's been different being in the pick and rolls with them, but, you know, I watch a lot of basketball, and they've been a successful team. They've been on TV a lot, so I've seen them play a lot. You know, Brooke has been in the league 16 years. I played against them a lot, so it's not like, you know, these dudes aren't strangers to me. You know, like I said, playing against them, watching them play a lot. And it's not just me playing in the pick and roll with them, it's how many other guys can play in the pick and roll as well, and me being off the ball and spacing the court to where guys have to make a decision. So all of those things are things that I've been experiencing in camp, and also, you know, I'm looking forward to having those opportunities where guys aren't just loading up on me.